Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Booktube Chicks Book Club. We are here with our first live show of the new year. Tonight, we're going to be discussing The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. Um, Tonight, I am here with Kathleen, whose channel is linked in the description below. So make sure you go check that out. If you've never been to one of our live shows before, the way it works is we do initial thoughts, spoiler free, for the first 5-ish minutes. And then for the next 30 to 45 minutes, we're going to be talking about this book with spoilers. So, Kat, if you would like to go ahead with your initial thoughts.
Sure. Hi, I'm Kathleen. My channel is for the love of books, even though I don't post on it anymore. This was my pick. This month was my pick, and we usually have two picks, and then the other person will pick the book that we choose. I chose this book because I'm trying to do like a theme for whenever it's my turn, unless it's a book I really want to read for that month. I wanted something more wintry. And not necessarily Christmassy, because because I read a lot of thrillers now, I wanted something thriller. So this ended up being one of the choices. It's set in like a resort, or these group of friends, they go to a resort and they want to spend the New Year's there and kind of celebrate together the New Year's. And the resort place is kind of really isolated. They're the only guests there, and there's the gamekeeper, the person in charge of the resort, whatever. So I was really looking forward to reading this book because I read another book by Lucy Foley, and which was The Guest List, and I really enjoyed that book. This one kind of fell flat for me. It was more of a slow burn Agatha Christie sort of murder mystery book. Essentially, these friends are there and someone gets killed, and then we have to find out who it was, And this book features like jumps in the timeline, but not necessarily like a huge jump. It's between the present in 2019 and when the friends are there in 2018. So this book again kind of fell flat for me. I was bored reading the book, to be perfectly honest, and I really didn't really care about. There's a lot of characters in this book, and I didn't really care about any of them. It just, the whole like being isolated in a resort with a potential killer loose. I thought it was going to be really exciting, and I thought there would be more action to this book, but it was very, very just very flat, and I felt like the writing was really bland, and there was just no excitement in the book for me personally. There were a few moments that I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of messed up, but otherwise the story just didn't resonate with me at all. And usually I really like these kinds of thrillers, so I did end up I originally rated it on Goodreads as a 3, but that was just a placeholder until I really processed my feelings. But I ended up lowering it to a 2. I didn't hate it. I would have to really hate a book for me to give it a 1. But so I ended up with a 2. I just didn't care about the book. I didn't really necessarily hate it. So
I hated it. Sorry, I'm posting on Instagram that we're live.
no, you're fine.
I gave it a 1. I haven't given a book a 1 star. I don't think I gave any ones last year at all. So I don't even know when the last time I gave a 1 star was. Okay, so I'm a romance girly. I think anybody who follows me here or on Instagram knows that. But I know that you and Desiree have said that I might be like a closeted thriller girly, and I can see that.
I think for you, it's just certain thrillers that you like.
Yes.
This is, yeah.
Yep. And because I told Kat while I was reading this, I was like, not everybody can be John Mars. Because that's the bulk of thrillers I've read, I think, is John Mars, with like a couple of random ones like sprinkled in here and there. And don't get me wrong, John Mars writes with a lot of characters, but they're all distinct enough to be able to tell them all apart. So I have so many thoughts, but none of them are good. And part of it is like I feel like with this book, it went in one ear and out the other. Like the whole thing, I'm like, I don't know what I'm reading, but here we are. I'm bored, but here we are. Um, so overall, I thought the book was boring. I didn't care about any of the characters. Um, I I think there were too many characters, and if you're going to keep that same amount of characters, they all need to be distinct.
I agree. I
And
don't know the difference between any of the guys.
yeah,
They all just blended into one.
and were there 2 guys? Were there 3 guys? I don't know. I think there might have been 3, but I and I hated the timeline jump. I understand that it's only like a 3-day jump, but I hated it. And it felt like this is not something that I think needed to have the jumps like it did. I think maybe it could have benefited from having a prologue that's current. We're finding out, oh, there's a dead body. And then being like 3 days earlier, and then we're following the story
Yeah,
leading up to.
I agree.
And is it just me, or was this book like a lot of backstory? Like it was
It
a lot
was because it was a lot of like telling like
yeah.
the why there's so much drama between the friends, you know.
Yeah.
So
And I just can't. So let's go right into spoilers, I guess. First of all, and I said this to you earlier today, why is this called The Hunting Party?
that's
Why?
a good question. There was like no hunting at all.
No
Like I
sense.
was expecting at some point to be like see the person who died being like chased through the woods in the snow by the killer, and then that would be like the hunting part of this book, but there was nothing like that.
I actually had a thought at one point, because at some point in the book, they're talking about how sometimes they'll get poachers on the land. And I was like, oh my God, are there going to be like poachers that are hunting them down? Like, is that why it's called The Hunting Party? Like they're the killers or something
And
like
then
that?
we didn't get that.
No. I see, I've already written a better book than this. Just by saying that, like, oh, this could be this could be this. So yeah, I don't understand why it's called The Hunting Party. Okay. I was reading a couple of reviews earlier today of this book, like negative reviews. And somebody, and I 1,000% want to agree with this. Who is Ian, and why did he show up for a chapter and then that's it?
That's a good question, because it was mainly like it was mainly the girl, I think Heather,
Yes.
who was in charge, and then it was the gamekeeper guy. I think his name was Doug. That one girl was
Red
like,
herring for him.
Yeah, I don't know who he is, to be honest.
He was there for a chapter to be used as some bullshit plot device, and then he was gone. And then we never heard about him again. So, yeah.
There's just a lot of characters.
Yeah, and like there's Miranda, who I understand is like the popular chick, and spoiler alert, she's the one who died. Which okay, so the killer is somebody in the friend group.
Right.
But it was like accidental. But at the same time, it was like weird, I guess, stalkeriness. I didn't really understand how to...
I guess what I don't understand was why Emma was stalking her. So turns out, so Miranda had this stalker, and she kind of made it into a joke at dinner parties, where she was like, oh yeah, I have a stalker, blah blah blah, ha ha ha. And it turns out it's one of the friends. It was Emma. And then somehow they got to this bridge, and Emma called her weird for stalking her, for following her around and then Emma gets mad and strangles her, and pushes her off the bridge or something. Yeah. But I don't understand what was her fascination with Miranda. Is it because she was popular? I feel like that wasn't explained.
Okay, so I don't know the technical word for it, but this Emma, she has some kind of mental illness.
Okay.
And I don't know what it is. I don't even know if they said what it was. All I remember is, like, in the book, she was arguing to herself, to us, the readers, whatever, that they always said it was a mental illness, but it's not, and this and that and the other. So something that I kind of wanted to touch on, because I briefly talked about it earlier, is like, is mental health something that can be used as a plot device in thrillers? You read more thrillers than me. I don't know. This is just something I wanted to talk about because I don't know.
I feel like it's a touchy subject, and I
Mhm.
feel like I don't know enough to say, but I feel like mental illness is used as a plot device even in our lives.
Mhm.
It's something that politicians use to excuse school shootings. It's
Mhm.
something that, people use to excuse, and I'm not saying necessarily that it doesn't contribute to said action,
Yes.
but yeah, I don't have the answer to that.
I hmm. I feel like I don't know how to word this in a way that I feel like there could have been better reasons, a better killer,
Yeah.
a better anything for this one. Um, Especially because you said you'd read the guest list and that was like so much better.
Yeah.
So I don't know with this one. It's just not good.
And the guest list had like multiple characters too, but I feel like that was better written. I feel like this one just didn't differentiate the characters enough. They all started blending in at some point.
Yeah. And I feel like, hold on, I need to look at the synopsis again here. Yeah, I mean, the synopsis is really intriguing. Which I think, I don't remember what the other choice was, but I think that's why I leaned towards this one more. And it does say, like, all of them are friends, one of them is a killer. But like, couldn't it like,
I feel like the way it said it, that it was like a premeditated. It was just in the heat of the moment that I feel like
yeah.
she killed her because she was angry for Miranda calling her a stalker or whatever, and weird. Yeah, this book made it, and they kept talking about how there's this, like, Heather, I think it was, kept talking about how there's a killer on the loose or whatever his name was. And we all started thinking that maybe, oh, it's this serial killer that's going around killing people, and it's not. It turns out he doesn't pertain anything to the story.
And then there was something about a train, and like, I think it was initially used for like drug movement.
Well, so one thing, because I found a summary of the book.
Okay. Oh
Someone
yeah, you did
said
talk about that.
someone said that Ian was smuggling cocaine. So Ian, that I have no idea who he is, was using the resort to smuggle cocaine, and that Heather caught him, but I don't remember what happened after that.
I do
So
remember Heather catching him because Heather thought that he was the killer.
right.
Um, and then also, did Heather get shot? I feel like Heather got shot as well
She did. So
because Doug killed the one guy.
I remember that Heather went to kill, what was the friend that cheated with on Miranda's husband? Miranda's best friend cheated on
Yes, and
you.
was pregnant.
Correct. So Emma went to kill that friend because she was like, "It's all your fault. You're cheating with her husband. If she didn't, if she wasn't in this emotional state, she wouldn't have called me weird, whatever." So she went to kill that friend, and Heather jumped in front of the bullet, and she got shot, but
Oh,
survived. So
okay, I read that wrong then. I think at that point I was just like, I don't care anymore.
yeah,
Uh, and
Katie, that was Katie. Yeah, Katie.
something I think about thrillers, and this is probably what draws me to John Marr's ones specifically, is there, like, we would hit the end of a chapter with this one, and there was like no like, oh my gosh, I have to keep going on to know what's
Yeah.
happening. John Mars does a really good job with that.
Yeah.
But I had no incentive to keep reading, except I had to read it for
I agreed. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like if if it wasn't for book club, I would have DNF'd it. Just because I don't have time for bad books anymore. Don't know about you. Well, those are all my notes. What do you think?
I think you touched upon everything. So Katie's affair with Miranda's husband,
Yes.
Julian, right? I think.
And
Whatever.
I think Katie was the lawyer. Possibly.
Didn't Miranda like call her fat or something, like heavy, and then she was surprised that Katie was having an affair with Julian.
I think so.
And I'm like,
oh, that's the other thing. There were just like a lot of random moments where sex was talked about a lot for no reason. So
and then there's the couple with the baby. I don't understand what their point in the story was. I feel like they didn't need to be there because they didn't contribute to the story.
yeah.
And then there was the gay couple, the friend that was gay. Well, there was a friend that was gay. He brought his boyfriend, and then apparently there's issues between. I think it was Miranda or one of the girlfriends. She outed the guy to the parents, and
I do not remember that. Did we read the same book?
Yeah, I feel like they didn't really add anything to the story, especially the couple, the baby. I was like, why is there a baby here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the baby was a good alibi for them. They couldn't have been the killer.
Because, but yeah, this book was just like all over. Wasn't all over the place. It didn't. It was very bland. Let's just say.
Yeah. Great start to the new year. Although, like, I think I said it earlier to you. I'm after last year only having like 2 4-star books for this book club and then being in the first half of the year, I'm like, I ended the year on a crappy note. Let's just start it on 1 2. Why not?
Well, hopefully next month's book will be better.
I'm not even going to say that I'm excited for it because last time I said that, didn't like it.
And we'll be reading the Hunger Games book this month, so hopefully,
yeah,
that one will be a good.
Read that
yeah,
one. Which
not
to get off track, but I hope I like that more than the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
But it's Haymitch, so
that's why I'm like, I have to like it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to talk about anymore because I'm just like, I don't have any good things to say.
So at the end, it says that Emma was caught. She was sent to prison, but because
4 years,
because of her privilege, she was given a light sentence.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
but she was only sentenced to 4 years for killing Miranda, and I mean, we see injustice every day, so I guess I'm not surprised that she only got. And I'm assuming did they say that they used her mental illness to help her case?
I'm gonna check.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I listened to the audiobook on Hoopla. I don't recommend the audiobook. But I was so confused because it was like chapter 59, epilogue, chapter 61.
Yeah. I saw that on the book, and I'm like,
it's because this is epilogue, and then you flip it, chapter 60, and then there's chapter 61.
Yeah, so the epilogue is 2 chapters?
Yes, which again, you could have just, I mean, okay, I get it because it's between 2 perspectives, but like, what if you just did epilogue, Heather, and then like a couple pages in after that, you write Katie or whoever the name is.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, I'd never seen an episode just be 2 separate chapters.
I thought Hoopla had a mess up. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if it was about. Okay, why did they spell Ian Ian. Okay. Oh wait, this is Heather. Let's see. Trying to see if I remember them saying 4 years, but I can't remember where it was. Can't find it. We're talking a lot about Ian. Okay. Maybe it's in the next chapter. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Emma was spectacular at the trial, very contrite and grief-stricken, and very, though not too, well-dressed. Let's see. She wept and she explained that Miranda had started taunting her about her condition, they used her condition, despite her attempts to explain. Oh, she hadn't meant to strangle Miranda, she said. There had been a tussle, yes, after Miranda had said something terrible, unforgivable things. It was self-defense. Miranda had been drunk and vengeful, had come at her fighting tooth and nail. She'd shoved her away and then, realizing the consequences of the push, had tried to save Miranda by grabbing onto the nearest thing within reach, her neck. Okay. So, doesn't sound very likely to me. The prosecution didn't think so either. It should be impossible not to convict. Okay, well, we live in a post-truth world. The jury lapped it up. Okay. They simply could not convict her of murder. Not this well-spoken, quiet, meek person who looked just like the daughter of a friend or a girl they remembered from school. People like her didn't commit murder, not proper murder. They simply had unfortunate accidents. Oh boy.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know how I feel about that ending.
Similar to the whole book. Didn't like it. Yeah. Let's see, on the back here, part of it's cut off because of the library sticker, but okay. The New Year's reunion in the remote Scottish wilderness. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. The beautiful one, the golden couple. Well, 8 people. The volatile one, the new parents, the quiet one, the city boy, the outsider. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 characters to follow in this book. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I feel like, again, some of those characters just were not needed at all.
Yeah. You could have probably taken out the new parents, and that's all I can think about right now because everybody was uneventful. Yeah. Oh, remember how you said it's like very Agatha Christie?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who did a quote says harkens back to Agatha Christie and the Orient Express.
I never read the Orient Express, so I can't say
I've never read any Agatha Christie's, but an addictive murder mystery full of suspense, secrets, and surprises.
I mean, it is full of secrets. These friends are so they're so messy. But
yeah, that's a good word for it. They're messy people. I mean, like, who isn't? But like, that's a really good. Remember when we read? I can't even remember. You're Invited. Mm-hmm. I can't remember who it's by, and the word that we were telling Desiree she needed to use was messy, because that's how she felt about it. This is extra messy.
Yeah. But yeah, I have nothing else to really say.
Yeah, I was trying to stretch it to 30 minutes because I feel like 30 minutes is a good time, but it is what it is. Maybe if we have more positive things to talk about books, we can get them to
I feel like this book, it was boring. I didn't really care for it. My brain just didn't capture any of the details. If it was a book that I absolutely hated, then I would viscerate the book to pieces with all the details that I remember why I hated it or if I loved it. But this was just like
crappy,
unmemorable.
Yeah. Oh yeah, unmemorable as you're reading it. Excuse me. For your rating system, what is a 2 considered for you?
Did not like it.
Did not like it.
Yeah.
What's is 1 like?
One is I absolutely hated. 2 is I did not like it. 3 is that it's okay. 4 is I really liked it, and 5 is I loved it.
Okay. So you're settling at a 2.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go any lower than a 1. So I'm at a 1. I'm at a -5. All right. Well, all things considered, it was a book.
Hey, you got through it.
we read it. It was a book that we read, and we're going to forget about it.
Yep.
I wish I had grabbed next month's book before we started. So I'll just pull up a picture on my phone.
I don't have a picture of it.
I should have grabbed it, but I'll do it after this so I can take a picture of it. Next month, I'm not going to say I'm excited for it. Next month, we're reading By the Book by Jasmine Guillory. This is a book that is set in I'm going to call it a series, but it's not a series. It is a series of modern contemporary Disney retellings. They're all done by different authors, similar to the Twisted Tales, but romance and modern and contemporary. And this one is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast that came out a couple of years ago. And I have only read the first one in this series, which was a Cinderella retelling, and I actually kind of want to reread it. But I think there's so far like 4 of them out, and the 5th one is coming out this year. So it is a book that I want to read. I'm not going to say it.
Did you like the first book?
I remember liking it. I was still in college when I read it, so it's been probably like 6 years. But I remember enjoying it. Okay. And I've read Jasmine Guillory's work before. I really enjoy her debut book, which is The Wedding Date. She writes a lot of really good romance books. So let's see. And we're going to discuss this on a live show on Sunday, February 23rd at 7 p.m. That's going to be our new meeting time going forward. And yeah, that is the next time we're going to have a live show for book club. And then if you like reading romance books, Desiree and I on her channel are going to be talking about The Partner Plot by Christina Forrest on February 2nd at 6 p.m. For quarterly romance. And then also under the Booktube Chicks umbrella is Pages and Pals, which is hosted on Kat's channel, which is linked in the description below. And the next Pages and Pals is going to be on February 7th, which is a Friday, at 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to keep up with all the information that I just dumped on you guys, and everything related to the Booktube Chicks, follow us on Instagram at Booktube Chicks. We have fully abandoned Twitter because it's a fire, and we are only on Instagram now. So follow us at Booktube Chicks. I'm going to be posting about quarterly romance there. I'll be posting about book club and Pages and Pals. And I'm trying to get better about posting on Instagram related to it because I've been really bad in the past. So I'm working on fixing that. But anyway, thank you for joining us or for watching the playback. And we will see you guys next month when we talk about By the Book by Jasmine Guillory. Bye.